Welcome to Tower Gardening Made Easy, and I'm Sherry. Well, it's finally time. We had 10 seeds that turned into 10 seedlings over 2 weeks' time, and now it's time to plant in the tower. So come along. Welcome back. Well, remember the video that we did dissecting my husband's dinner? So I'm going to put that right here if you haven't seen it. But these are the seedlings that we put in there into the rock wall, and they are now lovely, and they have beautiful root systems, and they're ready to go in the tower. So I'm going to swivel this camera around, give you a nice big tour of the summer squashes that are growing here, because there's a lot of them, and we're going to get these youngsters in there so they too can start producing some fruit. Okay, before we put those seedlings into the tower, I just want to give you a nice big tour. So this was the arugula that we planted last week, and as you can see, it's really kind of filled out and the leaves are getting much, much bigger. So obviously lettuce is so easy to grow. It really is just kind of a beginner. But let's get down here. So this plant right here, this was in the baby green section when we moved that mammoth plant out. And as you can see, we've got two summer squash right there that are pollinated. This one was pollinated the other day. And I want you to take a look at this. It's kind of tri-colored, and I think that that is a lighting issue. And as this has gotten bigger over the past 24 to 48 hours, it's starting to fade and get a little more yellow. So I thought that was kind of cool. And it's the actual plant itself has gotten bigger. Now, get ready for this. This was something very interesting I've never had happen to me before. So off of this plant right here, we took a lot of leaves off of this bottom girth, if you will, that stem. And as a result, it caused this one particular plant to throw off all of these summer squash. They're itty bitty, okay, but some are pollinated that I did over this past week. And there's actually a couple that I need to get in there and do. I'm actually letting the flowers get a little bit bigger, but I'm counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, there has to be 10 to 12 summer squash on this one stem. Now, will they all make it? Probably not. There's actually a duo right there, twins. Some may or may not make it just because it's just hard to pollinate, and it's much easier when they're a little bit bigger. But deep in here, I've got another big one that's growing. And then on this particular plant, we've got 3 that are looking really good down there. And we've got one down here. This is the base where the light gets hard. And you can see this little brown right here? It didn't make it, and that's okay. I mean, it wasn't pollinated, and it just probably needs a little more light. But other than that, like here's another one with that massive stem. And all of this canopy here is a little thick, so I may choose to thin that out a little bit. Probably not today, because we do have some summer squash here. I mean, there's just so many. Here's one that didn't make it, but that's okay. There's one up top that the flower's ready to go to be pollinated probably tomorrow or the next day. I really like the flower to be open all the way before I pollinate it, because it just means that little receptor in there is open and ready. I think sometimes if you go in there and the flower's not open, it's just not ready. And here's our one huge zucchini that was pollinated, and it's growing. The other 2 that were in the back, I think I filmed them last week. They didn't make it, but that's all right. We've got the whole other tower of zucchini. And then if we come around the corner, we've got more in here. I think I pollinated that one this morning. And then another one down there. There's a few little baby ones. Let's see if we can get in here underneath. No, there's another one in there that's didn't quite make it. You can see right there, it's a little bit brown. But that's right. I mean, there's so many summer squash on this tower that I'm not too concerned. But as you can see, this bottom right here, it's a little thick. So it's being shadowed by this big guy up here. So we may just have to not put seedlings on this bottom, because it's too shadowed. We may have to just focus on these net pots that are here and here and here and there. I think those are all really good spots. So let's go ahead and turn the camera, get a nice big wide view of it. And there's just so much food on that tower. It's amazing. I think removing that mammoth plant, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll be sure to tag it here. It was the right thing to do because I just have so many summer squash that have come into play. So, okay, let's swivel this and go ahead and plant. Okay, so let's get these guys in here. So just toss this over there. I want you to take a good look at these guys. They're just so lovely and healthy, and all of the stems are nice and firm. There's only one that's a little bit wonky. We can get some rock wool and we can go ahead and shear that one up. That's not a problem. But I'm going to go ahead and just start popping these in. And again, I think I've got more than I need, but we'll check the best ones. All right, and I want to just show you. Look at that root system. Okay, 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks. We're going to pop that one in right here. And again, I always like the stem to be closest to the tower because it's going to need that support. And then we've got one down here. I've got some really great stuff coming up for you guys. I've been kind of away this week doing a few things. And so I've got to kind of catch up on what's happening in the room, especially in the mushrooms. They're taking off in there. So we've got lots of videos coming at you with different stuff. And I have a surprise, not yet, but it's coming. And it's basically something, a forum or platform that I should say. It's called Let's Talk About It. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. So let's go ahead and find a spot to put this guy in. Again, look at that root system. Root system is like crazy. And then we've got one right here. And again, these guys are young. So by the time we have to remove or cut back one of the older plants, these guys will be mature, and hopefully at that point giving off some really good summer squash like these guys. You have to constantly rotate. So you've got some young and some old. Let's see where else we got some net pots in here. We've got some down below, but I'm not quite sure that I want to use them. I may, I've got a few more. This seems to be kind of light back here, so I may go ahead and just try to put, and then eventually maybe I can move them. Maybe on the lower level. And the water's kicking on. Let me see what I got going on back here. Those are all full. So you know what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these guys in the baby green section until they're a little bit bigger. And we'll move them at that point when they get a little bit stronger. Maybe next week we'll put them in there. So, okay. So I only have a couple left. And again, my #1 rule is plant more than you need because you just never know what's going to survive. But I'm pretty impressed with dissecting my husband's dinner and being able to get the 10 plants. I think we planted a little bit more than that, but I was very pleased with these guys and how they turned out. So go ahead and take your first generation summer squash, zucchinis, cucumbers, take those seeds out, put them in the rock wall, get them in that nursery, and create some free food. So we'll see you in the next video.